Let's hit the high road. Let's hit the high road. It's the first touch, strong connection. It lays deep in your soul. Feel the kindness, strongly come.
Hey, it's Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And you guys, today I have a fabulous guest. Brooke Ashley is here, and welcome to the High Road, Brooke.
Thank you so much for having me, Nancy. It's wonderful to see you.
Well, I'm grateful that you're here. She is an evidential medium, and she's a paranormal investigator. So this show is something that I enjoy watching, and I think my audience enjoys listening to people who have these experiences because it's really I'm going to say a blessing, to be honest with you. I think it's a blessing. So before we get into it, you guys, let me read a little bit about Brooke. She's an evidential medium and a paranormal investigator with Earthly Imprint Paranormal. For the past 5 years, she has trained with some of the best in the field, developing a clear and compassionate approach to spirit communication. Brooke travels the country giving gallery readings that bring healing and closure while also leading paranormal investigations that explore the unseen. She's a frequent presenter at metaphysical and paranormal conventions, and she's a regular host. She regularly hosts events throughout the Pacific Northwest, blending evidential mediumship with hands-on exploration of the paranormal. And I'm just so grateful that you're here. And I want to hear your story. I think you started when you were this all began when you were a child, is that correct? Tell us your story.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's interesting because it's so hard to explain, right? There's not like a moment where you're like, oh, something's going on. It really, for me, it was more like I was just kind of the weird kid. I was really close to nature, really close to like, I felt really close to like native culture also, which was odd because no one had really told me about native culture, so it was just very in tune with the earth and just a little bit off beat and very intuitive and could sense people's emotions around me. And I was lucky enough to have an adoptive mother. I'm adopted. I was adopted at the age of 4,
Wow.
who she's like light years beyond like she's very much Buddhistic and she's very much into kind of this sort of world of like there's something else out there, and she noticed it in me at a young age. So luckily she fostered that in me and never made me feel different about it. She always made me feel really comfortable and fostered that in me. So as I grew, my mediumship abilities, I guess you could call them. I like to think of them as more they were psychic at the time.
Hmm. Hmm.
They just started growing and getting stronger as I grew up and I got into my high school years and things of that nature. And then about 5 years ago, I had seen the mediums on TV and thought, oh, this is a thing that like people can do,
Hmm.
like Teresa Caputo. And then I saw Cindy Kaza on the Holzer Files, and I thought, I vibe with that. Like, that's what I'm talking about. So I thought to myself, okay, I can't do that, but what if I could? Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd put it to bed by taking a beginner's course with Cindy Kaza. And what do you know? I
Yeah.
could. So for the last 5 years, I've basically eat, sleep, breathe mediumship. So it's been a great ride.
Well, no, I love it. And you have a lot of the clairs. I have some of the clairs too. We have different clairs, but you have clairvoyance, well, let's go through them. Let's see. Clairaudience is seeing, just for the
It,
audiences.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
hearing.
it's hearing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A clairvoyance, I'm not reading my own notes here. Clairvoyance is seeing, clairaudience is hearing, and
hmm
clairsentience is sensing the emotions, and
hmm
claircognizance is the simple knowing. I have that. I have the knowing, which is a curse in a lot of ways because I
Yeah.
don't want to know, and then I have I have a heightened sense of smell
Oh, yeah.
as
Yeah.
well,
I think they call it clairolience
yeah,
or something
it's
like
a yeah, and again, it's not it's good and it's bad.
that.
You know what I mean? And that's what I want to ask you because, sometimes you see things you just don't want to see.
Mm. You know, I'm a little bit different than other mediums, I'll be completely honest. And I say this, anybody who watches like me on a podcast or me have a conversation about this part of mediumship will hear me
Yeah.
say the same thing. And it's I am a little bit different in the way that I'm in the off position at all times.
Mm.
So I literally have to go, okay, time to work, switch and turn the light on in order to work.
Okay.
I think it probably came from me being so overwhelmed growing up that eventually I just shut it off completely. And so now it's like just, I think the spirit world just knows I want to be in the off position to not like bother me in that way, or so I
Right.
have to switch my awareness and start working that. Okay, it's time to switch the awareness, and then boom, the light bulb goes on, information starts to come in. So other than that, I don't have stuff going on around me,
Yeah.
or but at night sometimes I'll be honest. It used to feel like anxiety attacks, so I thought that I was having like full-blown panic attacks, and then I realized it was spirit like coming at me while like trying to go to sleep. So I was able to learn how to like push that back and be like, oh God, I'm not having an anxiety attack anymore. That is what it is. So,
Mhm.
but other than that, like during the day, they don't bother me at the grocery store. I'm not getting visions of things unless I'm like ready to work.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I guess I look at things different. I'm an empath, so I pick up on the
Yep.
energy. And there's
Hmm.
nothing, I mean, I do my prayers and I surround myself with the light and I do all kinds of stuff, but I still pick it up. And
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do. But then on the flip side, I'll just say this, I do feel like I radiate good energy to the world. So I guess it works both ways,
Yeah.
with that one. So I'm curious now. Do you, I want to explain to the audience what evidential mediumship is, because that's a different word that usually you don't hear. So
Yeah.
I know what it is, but explain to the audience what that is.
So a lot of people will call themselves a psychic medium. So that means that when you're reading, you're getting information mediumistically through the spirit world and you're getting psychic information. It's not that I'm not a psychic medium. I just use the word evidential medium because medium is such a broad term. It encompasses things like any communication with the spirit world. So spirit guides, Akashic records, things of that nature could be considered mediumship, you know? So I like to call evidential mediumship what I do because what I am doing is putting myself on the line to say, this is what I'm getting. Do you understand that? And then I'm held accountable by the person who I'm reading for. I don't, I say evidential mediumship because it's like I want it to
You
be.
honor it. You honor this work, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much because I
Yeah.
don't go outside of those parameters. I
Right.
like the saying that says a jack of all trades, a master of none. And I didn't want to dabble in so many types of mediumship that
Hmm.
my evidential mediumship suffered because
Hmm.
that's what I knew I wanted to do. So I said, I'm not gonna try to train in Reiki. I'm not gonna try to train in Akashic Records. I'm not gonna, not that I don't take classes like that sometimes just to see what that's like. I
Sure.
think it's a great idea to train in everything you can, but my main focus has been this type of mediumship where I stand in front of a person and I'm held accountable by the things I'm bringing through. So that to me is evidential mediumship. And so that's why I use that word evidential mediumship because I don't want people to get confused because the general public very quickly will be like, oh, because a lot of people don't understand mediumship in that way. So they
Right. It's
think,
different than being a psychic. It really
right.
is. Like I'm a psychic and I work with the
Mhm.
angels and I get messages with the angels and I work with my guardian angels and all of that. And that's in God.
Right.
I work with God. I work with spirit, all of that.
Right.
But I do not, well, I do sometimes, but not very
Mhm.
often. I don't really try to talk to the dead so much. Like my dad's around and my sister's around and I chat with them. And
Yeah.
I'm in the shower, I'll send people to the light. But that's not my gig. My gig
Yeah.
is more working with the angels. Like you said, you can't do
Yeah.
it all. You can't
Right.
be everything,
Hmm.
because and I love that. But here's what I like about this and what you said about the evidential mediumship. This is really important. To me, it is the accountability. And I love that you say in some of the notes that I received, it's really about the honesty and never trying to give people details that aren't there or trying to give them information that just isn't there because that's not cool. There's a
Right.
fine line, and I love that about you, and that you recognize that. Talk to me. I mean, what has it been? I bet it's been, well, it's always rewarding to me, so I know it's got to be rewarding for you when
Yeah.
you do a session with someone and you bring in the loved ones. I mean, do you want to share some of your experiences with all?
Yeah. I love it. I think it just gives me faith in humanity, honestly, because when I'm bringing through somebody's loved one and they burst into tears, you can literally see the beginning stages of healing that was not happening prior to that. I mean, grief counselors are great, getting therapy is great, doing things to, release grief is great. But I see things happen in that moment that I can just tell energetically it wasn't happening before that session. And I know that they're going to walk out of there and something's going to be different in a positive way for them, and that's huge for me. And it's a beautiful thing to see, definitely, because a lot of people, especially in gallery readings, it's amazing when I go in person and I do a gallery reading that sold tickets and people come in and they sit in their
Right.
seats.
How is
There's
that? How does
it's
that work? I mean, when you go, can I ask this question?
Yeah.
Always wondered this. So when you go in, do you just like say, okay, you switch it on, like you get up on stage and you turn your switch on, and then whoever comes in, is that how
Yep.
you work it?
Yep, that's exactly how it works. That's exactly how it works. So I'm like, okay, ready to work. Switch. And then I'm like, ooh, okay, I have Uncle Bob coming through. He passed away of a heart attack. Who can understand this information? And then the hand goes up, right? And the interesting thing about gallery and going spirit led is number one, I love the fact that I'm letting spirit work. I'm letting them speak and I'm allowing myself to be open in that way where I'm not controlling the situation.
Okay,
Like I
so
go direct all the time on a daily basis when I'm doing like readings online. I'll go direct, just who do you want to hear from?
right.
But in this space, I'm able to just let spirit do all of the talking. And the stuff that comes through is amazing because I'm not second guessing or questioning, is what I'm getting gonna be right? Because when you have that one person in front of you and you start to get a little like, oh, should I say that? I don't know if it's example.
Yep,
I had a woman in front of
yep.
me the other day and I'm like, I had her grandpa and I'm like, dude, just say it, Brooke. Just say it. Because we're taught, my mentor teaches us, just say it. If it's
I
a no,
know. It's
oh
true.
well.
It's true.
I'm like, why is this guy showing me pineapples? Like he's just pineapples, she's like, he used to eat pineapple sandwiches all the time, and it was the grossest thing.
Oh my God. But that's how they
So,
know it's their loved one. And you're
yeah,
exactly right, because I've had that happen where I've had somebody's come through and I've told them and they're like, yeah, and I thought it was the stupidest thing. And I didn't want to say it. You're exactly right. You don't want to say it because you think they're gonna think you're nuts, but then it comes
yep,
through and they're like, yeah, I think that's great. God, I
yep.
lost my train of thought there, listening to you. Well, here's what I wanted to ask you. I really love it that you say spirit comes through. So it's not you, uh,
Mm-mm.
so we need to tell the audience that because a lot of people are like, oh, this is weird. This could
Mhm.
be, this could be satanic. This could not be cool, but it's spirit. It's God coming
Yeah,
through. Okay, this is what I think, and I just want you to let me know. So when you were speaking, it felt like, okay, God's coming through, like I feel the same way. And then he set this up, or she, or whatever the God has set this up. So the person who's there is getting the information that they know that spirit knows they need in order
yep.
to feel more comfort. Is that, and it's
Mhm.
just run, you're just the conduit. It's just running through you. Is that
Correct.
right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And I think the more you let go and let spirit take the lead, the better the mediumship is.
Right.
And for people who say things like, oh, it's demonic, I understand that dogmatic thing that gets into people's, awareness.
Brain.
They're
Yeah.
raised that way and,
Yeah.
they need to hold on to that belief. We all have our own belief systems and that's fine. But I implore people to think about the healing that's happening and what kind of a demon would want you to heal so deeply. You
Mm.
know what I mean? It doesn't make
Hmm.
any sense.
Hmm.
People are their grief is being lightened. They're allowed to breathe again, live again, knowing that their loved one is with them. It's beautiful. These people are healing. And so I implore people to say, well, what demons are waking up in the morning going, I can't wait to heal a bunch of people.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, and it's just really interesting. You do this work and you're really helping people. And I bet it's brought you closer to the divine and the people around you. Has it brought the people, family members, friends and family, has it brought them closer to God, to the spirit?
I just want to, this is going to be a little bit of a PSA for people out there, especially people who are stepping into mediumship, because I see it a lot. It actually, a lot of times, is the opposite.
Yeah.
You go through a spiritual awakening, things crack open, and you no longer align with your old life. And sometimes there's people that are in your life that just can't come with you on that journey. And
Mhm.
it's okay. That's okay. That's not their journey. It's your journey. And so I haven't spoken to my father in a year. He cut me off completely. He's almost 80 years old, my adoptive father. And I mean, he comes from a time where he's not really far removed from Houdini, who, wanted to like burn us all at the stake and have us imprisoned and, things of that nature. He's not far from that, and he's a very black and white person. He's very atheistic. Not that he's like screams he's an atheist, but I mean, anybody who says you're worm food when you pass away, there's nothing, that's an atheist.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That's true.
yeah.
I experienced the same thing, but what helped me, and I'll just mention it, is interesting. I can remember thinking, I'm working with the angels, and these people don't believe me. And
Mhm.
I remember reading in the Bible, and this is what helped me and comforted me, and I'll share this, is when Jesus talks about going home to his hometown. And he couldn't even
Mhm.
do the miracles there because they didn't believe. Because you have to believe in order for the healings and the miracles to happen. And that gave me
Yeah.
comfort knowing that that's how it is. That's how it was
Yeah.
for Jesus. They said, "You're just a carpenter. You're nobody
Yeah.
special. You can't do this." And did anyway, so having said that, that's just how I
Yep.
feel about it, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you've had that. I've had it too. I've had
Yeah.
it too in my immediate family. When I wrote my angel book, they
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it
So I get
happened.
it. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
Now you have support from
absolutely.
your husband, I would imagine.
Oh my God, my fiance is like the best person in the
Okay.
world. I
Okay.
actually met him in a mediumship course with Cindy Kesa. We had been taking classes together.
Oh my goodness. I love it. What a cool story.
I know
Now you're engaged.
it's so cute. We're gonna get married one of these days, but he's literally I call him unicorn. So I mean he's not like any other man I've ever met. Like just adores me, puts me first, is a great communicator. If we don't agree on something, we can calmly talk about it. He is quick to apologize if he feels like he needs to, which is not very often because he's not, I mean, he's so kind and so gentle and so sweet. But I'm walking alongside a man who has gone through the same spiritual awakening that I have and the same understanding that I have. So I mean, I feel like he was sent to me, because I
Oh
found him
yeah.
after my spiritual awakening, and it's just, he's incredible. He's the best person. He's the best,
Blessings to you.
Yeah.
Blessings to you for that. You do talk a little bit about science and spirituality coming together. I talk about this on my show a lot. I see
Mhm.
it seems like every guest that comes on, we do see that spirituality and the science is finally, coming
It
together.
is.
What do you see in your work? Do you see more people waking up and elevating and
Yes.
recognizing and
Yes, absolutely. It's unbelievable. I've had so many skeptics come and get readings from me, and there's something happening with them. There's like a fracture in the three that like 3D matrix. There's a fracture, and people are waking up, and people who you wouldn't expect really to as well. People who are, engineers and people who work, with computers are very science based. I mean, not everybody will come around to that way of thinking, but I think the mindset is more open than
yeah.
I remember it being growing up. I feel like things were so black and white when I was a kid, and
Mhm.
there was a little room for gray area, but the people who were stepping in the gray area were called freaks or weirdos, or and so I don't see that as much anymore. There are so many skeptics that come to my gallery readings and leave a believer.
How
I
fun
had
is that? How cool is that, though? I
it
mean,
is.
that's really awesome.
I know, I love it. I had a
Well, because
gallery
they
reading.
believe in they believe in God when they leave.
Yeah, it's incredible. They believe, they know that their loved ones are not gone from them. They don't have to question it ever again. But I had this gallery reading last week. weekend, I was in Minnesota and I was having a gallery reading, and the girlfriend of my friend who put it on for me, his name's Brady Goebel. He's of Chasing Paranormal. He does great work in the Minnesota area, putting on paranormal events and stuff. And his
Nice.
wonderful girlfriend, Mindy, she like drug her friend to this. She's like, you need to get here. You need to get here. I think she was on her phone. So this girl came halfway through my gallery and sat down, and I could feel the energy from her. I'm giving readings, readings, readings. And I said, you know what? She needs this. I can feel it. Like she's about to fall apart. So I just looked at her and I said, who do you want to hear from? And so she told me her son's best friend, and he came running through, apologizing. I'm so sorry. It was an accident. I didn't mean to. She's bawling, right? So I'm giving her all of this evidence. And then she says to me, and it is everybody burst laughing. And it's great because laughter raises the vibration.
Yeah, yeah.
She says, I didn't believe you, but now I do. It was the cutest thing.
Oh my
So
God.
stuff like that, it makes it worth it, you know? Yeah.
Well, we don't have a ton of time to stay on the show today, but I do want to hear about your paranormal work and how you
Yeah.
got into that, and if you can kind of share some information about that work
Sure.
you're doing.
Absolutely. So it's me and my partner Martin. We're Earthly Imprint Paranormal. We keep it small because we know that teams that tend to be a little bit bigger can start to fall apart and there's infighting. So I just keep it with him. But we will team up with other teams to do things. So we travel the country and we just secure paranormal locations and we investigate, we film. So we have a YouTube channel that's got some new episodes on there. We work with our friends Toby Johnson and Alicia Pfeiffer from Olympic Strange Days out here all the time, and they're fascinating.
What's it
They've done
called? What's the
research.
YouTube channel called?
So my YouTube channel is under Earthly Imprint Paranormal.
Okay.
I also have a podcast channel that I do stuff for all of it under Spectre and Spooks podcast on YouTube as well.
Okay.
And then for Earthly Imprint Paranormal, we just travel the country. We go to Butte a lot. We love Butte. It's one of the most haunted towns ever. We go to Minnesota. We do a lot of stuff here in Washington State where we're stationed and where we live. And we just love to film. We love to create. We put on events when we can. We just did an event at the Starrett House in Port Townsend. It's a huge Victorian house. We did let up some paranormal investigations for the public there. And we love what we do. We just, it's not work to us. It's just fun, you know?
Fun.
Yeah.
So you go in, you find the entity, and you send them to the light, basically.
I don't personally send people to the light. I will go in and I will do a paranormal investigation. I don't think I've ever found anybody who I felt needed to be sent to the light yet,
Ah, interesting.
but I have never had experience in doing that. So if I felt like that was something that needed to be done, I would probably call somebody else in who is used to that and has done that in the past. I
Mhm.
always say, I don't know that everybody will agree with me, but I find that when it comes to sending people to the light, there has to be they have to want that, you
Yeah,
know?
and I say that to you because that's been my experience. Just because when I started doing this work, people would come to me in the shower, and I would send people to the, because I guess that's where I was the most, receptive, and I've sent
Yeah.
people to the light because they were stuck.
Yeah.
So when I hear about I'm really glad that you're telling me this. So when you go in, I guess I just assumed that's what you did. So
Mhm.
what is it that you do when you find a spirit that is, or they want to be there, so they're not so
Mhm.
much stuck where I've had them where they're stuck and they needed my help and they looked for my light. Whereas
Right.
this is a little bit different, isn't it?
It is. So basically, I just go in and allow them to tell their story.
Ah,
So I go in with no preconceived notions about anything anybody has said about the building in the past. We throw
okay.
that out and we start from scratch. Try to figure out who's there, what do they need? Is this residual energy? Is this playing on a loop? Is this active? Is this like an intelligent haunt? And my idea of what an intelligent haunt is probably different than other people's. A lot of people say, that spirits are stuck. I personally don't believe that in that context. I
Okay.
believe more that it's like a fragmented piece of the soul that maybe stays behind. And the first person who opened my mind to that being, I was like searching for what could this be if I believe that spirit is on the other side and I'm talking to them, but there's ghosts here. What do I believe? And I was tossing around these beliefs, and my mentor said this, and I resonated with it so fast. I was like, that's it. It's a fragmented piece of the soul that kind of gets splintered off when somebody goes to the other side that
Oh,
stays behind. And so we interpret it as the person because it is technically a piece of that soul.
yeah,
So
right.
we interpret it as that person, and they're just kind of sticking around until they're ready to have resolve about what wasn't resolved or
Mhm.
what wasn't fixed or what wasn't finished. And then when that happens, it reintegrates with the whole soul. Because
Gotcha.
I have to understand, I have to see what I'm seeing and then make sense of it. And what I'm seeing is that I have a friend on the other side who passed away from an OD. And so I'm sure that there's people around that area, that apartment or wherever he was living that's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy died of an OD. Like, let's go in there and see if he's in there." They may find something or a piece of evidence that is my friend. But I know that my friend's on the other side. I've had visitation dreams. People, other mediums have brought him through for me before. He comes to me all the time. So what is that? He can't be stuck if he's on the other side. So it makes more sense to me that he was in a traumatic state when that happened and going through some trauma, maybe passed away, didn't expect to. So that tiny piece of that soul fragmented off until it could make sense of what was going on and then reintegrates with the whole soul.
That I understand, but I also do believe that for me personally, I have actually had conversations with, people, and I don't feel like what I was dealing with personally was a fragment of a soul. I
Hmm.
felt like it was the person was kind of lost. I
Hmm.
that's but that's just my opinion. That's what I feel. That's what I've experienced.
Right.
Everything's
Right.
different. But I do commend you on doing this work. I think it's
Yeah.
fabulous. I think it's great. I saw on your website, she has a really cool website. It's mediumbrookeashley.com. And I saw on your website that you have a 6-week course on mediumship starting
Mhm.
in January 2026. Do you want to promote yourself a little bit? Talk about the services that you offer and how people can find you and that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a class coming up, a 6-week course. So this is mechanics of mediumship. So this would be for intermediate to advanced students to deepen their mediumship, have longer connection, being able to distinguish between different people on the other side, hold a connection with multiple spirits, deepen the evidence that's coming through, the story, things of that nature. So that's going to be a really fun class, 6 weeks for intermediate to advanced students. But I do classes all throughout the year. It's just when I kind of get an itch and I'm like, oh, let me do a class. But you can always find it on my website at mediumbrookeashley.com. So that website will have, you're able to book a reading with me on that website. You will see classes that I'm doing on that website, events that I'm going to be a part of, paracons I will be at. And all of that is on my website. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. I love to teach.
Okay, cool. I don't know why I'm going to ask you this question, but it came into my head. Have you had any experiences with ETs?
Uh, not as much as you would think, but do I believe in it? 100%, absolutely.
Right, right.
Seen things in the sky that I can't really explain. So I know there's a connection to that, absolutely. So I feel like that's a rabbit hole that I just can fall down all day long, and
Yeah.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
kind of scary. I'm a little nervous about that. I don't know. It makes me a little bit nervous. Well, you'll have to come. I'm in Connecticut now. And so you'll have to come out to Connecticut or Massachusetts because that's one of the biggest paranormal places. I'm
I
so
would
close.
love to.
Yes, I think you're going to have to come visit us and check
I
it out.
would
When you're in the area, you're going to have to let everybody know. Come see.
absolutely. Any invitation down there, I would love to. Love to.
What do you want to leave us with today, Brooke?
I just want to let everybody know that your loved ones are never far from you. They really, truly are not ever far from you. Just to know that if you want a sign and symbol, just ask for it. Just place one there and tell your loved ones, I need to hear from you. Could you show me this, show me that? And then be open to the way that it will come through. Just knowing that your loved ones truly do see you. They truly don't miss anything in your life and they're right there with you always. Absolutely.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here for today. Remember to pick up my book, A Guide to Angel Communication, or if you want to read about energy, wake up, the universe is speaking to you. If you want a psychic reading, if you want to get with the angels, go to my website, nancyyearout.com. Brooke, thanks again. Hope everybody has a fabulous week and God bless.
Hold your head Let's hit the